What is going on? AJ here. Before we get the show started, I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by MUZMM.com. They make these pretty killer duffel bag / backpack hybrids. Pretty darn sick, I gotta say. Anyway, if you want to save 20% on your next order, you can go to MUZMM.com/discount /STGeekPod. You can also use our discount code STGeekPod at checkout. Again, that's for 20% off, but we'll talk about that a little later on in the episode. Let's get things started.
Let's do this. Welcome to STGeek. This is John, your kind of co-host, real host. Doesn't matter what host.
We all host.
We all host. Where we usually talk about video game, comic books, movies, all the fun stuff.
Sometimes we throw in TV shows every
once in a while. The good ones.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, basically.
Which we've seen all the episodes of.
Yes, all of us have.
Of course.
Hopefully.
Yes.
We made a commitment. Yeah.
Seen like 3.5 episodes.
So you did watch half of it then?
Nah, that's a lie. Straight up 3. Spoilers for episode 3. I saw a little baby Yoda guy get the little ball of the lever at the end.
How cute was that?
It was pretty adorable. Oh yeah.
Have you been seeing the debate that's been going around now?
Oh,
Who's
Baby
cuter?
Groot and Baby Yoda?
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda, I vote.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Well, because you see more of Baby Yoda. It's like the
That's
comparison's
true.
not even fucking fair.
I mean, with the 2 seconds you see Baby Yoda already is cuter than, Baby Groot.
Yeah.
That first episode.
Oh,
you
yeah,
see him, it's
absolutely.
like, oh my God.
And then the third episode, where you see him like waddle around.
I saw some on Twitter, somebody put, I love Baby Yoda so much that I would put Baby Groot in a fire to keep Baby Yoda warm.
That is awful, but I relate. Can relate. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
Great. I think I would do that.
Jesus God.
I mean, Disney's making the money either way, so it doesn't.
Who doesn't matter? Who doesn't matter? He's on fire, right?
Absolutely. At this point, Groot's growing up too, so that fire's going to last a longer amount of time. So good for Baby Yoda then at that point.
Yep. Baby Yoda.
Do you think we're going to actually get an origin of him? Maybe not so much of the species, but Baby Yoda himself.
We would have to.
I'm tired of saying Baby Yoda.
I know, right? Give us a name, goddammit. And then people are going to riot over the name and go back and call him Baby Yoda again, I bet. But no, I think
let's give
so.
him an actual name now. Let's just definitively give him a name. I vote for Frank.
Frank. That'll be
I
a
like
code
that.
name.
All right.
All right, Frank it is.
Baby
It is.
Frank.
Baby
Cool.
Frank?
Yes.
From now on, if you're listening to this podcast, if we refer to a guy named Frank, it's Baby Yoda. There you go.
It's a terrible name.
Now I just want like an employee
So it's
badge
Baby
on
Yoda.
his little like
Because it's not
blanket or
Yoda.
something. Wait, what?
It might be. You don't know. Clone.
It might be a clone, actually. Have you heard that?
Yeah, of course.
Ooh.
Well,
like
because the guy has like the symbol
The
of the
Camino clone people. Yeah.
clones. Ooh.
Ooh, spoilers.
Possible.
All right, AJ.
So should we just jump straight into the Mandalorian Minute since we're already kind of there?
A Mandalorian Minute. Yeah,
Yes,
go for it,
it's
guys.
a recurring segment that I just made up that I called the Mandalorian Minute.
I love it.
It's not going to be anywhere near a minute. We're not even going to try to contain it to a minute, but it's the only anagram of MM I could think of.
it's a catchy
think
name.
of outside of the Mandalorian Mile, which makes no fucking sense. So Mandalorian Minute it
Unless
is.
you want to dress up as the Mandalorian or Baby Yoda and run a mile lap.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Which we're not.
That might be.
You can do that.
That could actually make
you
a
can
really
do that while
fun
you're
video.
watching the 4th episode of the Mandalorian.
There you go.
There
Okay,
you go.
cool. I'll wear my Google glasses as I do it. I don't own Google Glass, nor do I want to.
So how
Isn't
fucking
that
dope
dead?
was episode 3?
Google Glass is dead, right?
Oh yeah,
think
I
so,
mean,
yeah.
it's probably being revisioned. I imagine.
It's dead.
No, it was because it was a whole like how do you
Privacy,
regulate something like
yeah.
that? How people are being
In
recorded
public.
off their without their consent and
Right.
shit. So it was kind of a whole thing. They kind of just pulled it,
Respect.
which is always how these things work. Technology is always limited by what's the word? Regulation. There we
Oh,
go.
I thought you were going to say registration.
No.
I was
know,
like, wait, what?
Are you pro registration? Goddamn.
Regulation. Yes.
You are sad about Tony Stark.
Superhero Regulation Act. Yes, I'm pro Team Stark.
So
God, it's
episode
really
3 was amazing.
What's
Episode 3 of The Mandalorian was amazing.
Yo, that. Oh, okay, yeah. Because last episode I was gone, but you hadn't seen the episode of that at the time, right?
Correct.
Cool. No, that episode was tight.
Super good.
Mandalorian
Holy
still.
It's the best one so far.
Easily.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys know this, but the director who directed this episode is going to be the director of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Oh, she
Oh.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, I'm
Pretty
so
great,
down.
right?
It is pretty nice.
Because
I'm
it's
so
easily the best episode, episode 3.
It was really, really tight. I mean, as far as like action and the surprise you get at the end,
And the world
pretty awesome.
building, like, is pretty good. Like, you get more Mandalorian lore.
Yep.
Mandalorian lore.
Yeah.
Because it fucking
We're
nerds.
on there. Mandalorian Minute, welcome. Oh God.
Which is pretty cool.
I feel like we got that flashback somewhat in like, was it the first
It
or
was the
second
first episode.
Yeah, but it was cool to see it a little bit more, a little more detail behind it, and
Yeah.
get to know what the Mandalorians somewhat stand for a little bit more.
Or just like more about their culture.
Yeah.
Like about not removing their helmet and shit. And then you get a little bit more of that in episode 4.
Ooh, looking forward to it then.
Just a bit more.
Well, we're just going to
a bit
spoil
more.
it for you.
Yeah.
This
You
is
had
the
your
way.
chance, AJ.
This is the way.
This
is the way. Yes. Apparently, you can take your helmet off when nobody's around.
Which makes sense.
Because he needs to eat. That's literally the
I
reason
thought he
they
ate with
give
the
you.
straw.
I would love to see him try to smash the Subway sandwich under his helmet to get it into his gullet. Okay.
But I guess nobody. I guess the at the core of it, nobody's allowed to see your face. And if they do, then you're never allowed to put your helmet back on.
Oh,
you're kind of like
okay.
disgraced. You're no longer.
So when you like mate, is it just the girl with the? Is it just the girl with the prettiest helmet? Like what's happening? With
Yeah, how
that?
do you figure out
Probably.
if you're like into each other? I love the way their butt sways in their armor. I'll give her some of that Mandalorian steel. How do you
Probably.
figure that out? Just whoever has
It's
the
not- I
sexiest
guess-
helmet
I don't think
voice
he's
or what?
I don't think it. I mean, I'm pretty sure he could. They kind of hint in episode 4 that he can still fuck. He doesn't need to fuck with a Mandalore.
Does like a door open?
He just
in
has
his
to get the
crotch
mask
area or
on,
what?
right?
Yeah. He just has to keep it on.
Okay.
He can still get his dick wet.
Just keep the helmet on the entire time.
Yeah.
It's kind of kinky. Why not? Everyone has their kink.
Just like The Watchmen, which I'm sure neither of you still have seen yet.
No, have not.
Yeah. the
Keep
latest-
hearing from everyone. It's
latest
really
episode of
great
The Watchmen.
though.
God, it's good.
You have said something that I've heard from a few other people as well, in that the first episode, it seems like it could fit in any universe whatsoever. It could even be like its own original story.
Definitely.
But then after that, it just goes off and away, and it becomes amazing.
Yes.
Cool.
It really starts tying in all the I don't want to say loose ends, but it really connects itself to the graphic novel in a lot of big ways, and it's good.
How
God,
long
it's
is each
good.
episode?
About an hour.
Okay,
Okay.
so typical HBO length.
Yeah.
An episode. All right.
And it's weird. I gotta say, it's fucking weird. But like a good weird. Like it makes sense in this universe kind of weird.
I'm in. I just need to take the time to do it, but I don't have anything HBO right now. I lied. Sin got HBO on Hulu, so I have no excuse not to
No
watch.
excuse.
No
Not
excuse.
to watch now.
Well,
Other
we
than
were
you just
talking.
won't
I
do
think we
it.
talked about it either on the previous episode or off the or recordings, but we were talking about watching every single episode and doing a whole, or every single episode of the season and then doing a whole episode on that. Which I'm down
Based
for.
off the season review?
Yeah,
Oh, let's do it. That'd be fun.
I'm totally down for that.
So by the end of the last episode, we should have a full-on review then.
I think so. Instead of just waiting to watch the one pilot and talk about it,
That would be
Yeah.
fun.
watch the whole series.
I'm down to keep up the Mandalorian Minute, though. That should definitely be
Oh,
a thing.
I'm not gonna not
For
watch
every
that.
I'm glad we're all so into like a Star Wars project right now. The thing is, I have to bring this up in that it's projected. Nothing's guaranteed yet, obviously, because the movie's not even out yet. However, it's projected that Rise of Skywalker is falling behind as far as like ticket sales. Compared to Last Jedi, the previous movie. So I thought that was kind of
yeah.
crazy, but
Well-
at the same time, I mean, considering how divisive Last Jedi was, it probably left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, the hardcore fans are still going to go out and see it, but also there's probably plenty of hardcore fans that are just probably over it now. I don't know. I personally love that movie. Peter, you've said how much you've liked it as well over the years.
It's I don't know. I need to watch it again
Okay.
because it's one of those movies where I liked it the first time because it took me by surprise.
Sure.
Like there was just twist after twist after twist. Like I liked how it just kept you guessing, and by the end I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen.
Right.
But the more that I think about it, the more I realize that I don't think the writing was good.
Oh, really?
shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not
think-
sure. I'm not sure that it was.
Wow. I think, personally, Rian Johnson did a really great job writing the screenplay of that movie. But, I mean, that's just
certainly
me.
did an
And
amazing
I've seen it a
job.
few times now.
He certainly did an amazing
A
job
few
about
times.
this movie that we saw this week, which I'm sure we forgot to mention, which is Knives Out.
Yes, we did forget to mention. But, yeah, we did see Knives Out, and he did a great job with this one also.
I can't wait to talk about that one
Yeah.
because there's a lot going on in that movie.
We will definitely get into it in a little bit. Is that it for the Mandalorian Minute then? Or did you guys want to go into more
episode
detail?
4 is a little bit underwhelming, I think.
Oh wow. Well,
Especially following episode 3.
or the finale of it, for that
Yeah.
matter, yeah. Or just like you said, the Mandalorian of it all.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
that's just
You
what I
trying
want
to get
call
it?
it.
It's all right.
No, I want it to always be called that now. Sorry.
Yeah, but episode 4 is kind of just, they introduce a new character. The whole pacing of the episode feels a bit rushed. Like they go through a whole thing where here's a village that needs help. Okay, we helped the village. Oh, we trained them to help themselves. Okay, we're done.
We're done.
I
Toyota
see,
bye.
I see.
In like 40 minutes. It just felt super fast.
It's my favorite episode from Full Metal Alchemist. If you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah, I do.
Peter.
Mhm.
I do not.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's a great show. Would recommend.
That's like the first episode, isn't it? You talking about that
It's
episode?
probably pretty early on. Not the Cornello, in the
okay.
mining town.
Oh, got that one. Okay.
They're miners, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. But anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
It
yeah,
kind of
it's
just
a bit
reminds me of
underwhelming.
that. Okay.
Apparently, Bryce Dallas Howard directed that episode.
Oh wow,
Yes.
that's
I didn't even know
cool.
she directs.
Just like her daddy, I guess. Why not? Shit.
But who's her daddy?
Really?
I'm her daddy. No.
Oh
I'm
my
just
gosh.
Oh my
you
God.
wish.
That's not, I did not plan that intentionally. Is it Ron Howard?
Ron
Yeah,
Howard is her
Ron
dad.
Howard.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It literally I pieced it together
Once you
just
heard
now.
Howard?
Yeah, I was like, wait a second.
The redheads of
The
Hollywood,
Howards,
if you
yeah.
will. Next to Emma Stone, of
Yeah,
course.
they're gingers.
Anyway, yeah,
Yes.
Mandalorian Minute, which we're not gonna try it to be a minute.
What did you think, John, of it?
Well, episode 4, I agree with Peter. It wasn't as good. I think episode 3 was the best.
That finale was awesome.
They definitely amped up the cuteness with Baby Yoda.
Okay.
Within,
heard.
Yeah, within like the
It's-
first few minutes, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
want him.
fucking adorable.
Sin was saying, she's like, if you thought he was cute in episode 3, wait till 4.
Oh
And I
yeah,
was like,
episode
oh,
4
no.
definitely.
I think I have
Wait,
seen a
Sin seen
GIF
it?
though where he's like, oh yeah, she's loving the show.
So she watched it without you?
Yeah.
Didn't you say that you weren't allowed to watch it?
That's our Stranger Things tradition.
You
We'll
get
watch
1
every
week,
episode
AJ,
together.
for Stranger
Wow.
Things.
Oh
Week.
boy, since you looked at me. Anyway, yeah, I think I've seen a GIF where like Baby Yoda's holding like a food bowl in the woods.
He's
or something
eating
like
soup.
that.
He's drinking soup.
Yeah.
Soup. There we go.
He's
There
like,
you
that's
go.
none of my business.
Is that episode 4?
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, dang, people are spoiling shit fast for this show.
You gotta watch
gotta
it
watch
right
it
quick.
right away.
Spoiling Baby Yoda shit anyway.
Yeah, pretty much that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you're fucking seeing.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about anything
Peter
else.
basically ruined the episode for you already.
Oh, okay. It's all
Introduced
good.
new character. Villagers need help.
Okay.
Villagers are saved.
It's
all
not
Off to
good.
the
like
next
I don't feel
planet.
like I'm spoiling anything because it's so whatever.
Gotcha. Like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And it probably doesn't affect the overall plot that we know of yet. Anyway.
How do you
mean-
feel about them showing the giant robot? The
ATSD.
Yes.
Spoiler.
Oh, there's an ATST in this episode?
That was pretty cool.
That's crazy. Okay, so they still exist even though the Empire's falling or has fallen.
I guess
at this point.
it looks when they show it, it looks like it was one that was just kind of found and then just repurposed by this one like band of bandits or whatever. So it's
Ewoks. I'm just kidding. That would be tight though.
I thought they were gonna Ewok it. I thought they were gonna get some
So
kind of
did I.
ropes to drop it. I was like, oh man, didn't happen though. Did not happen.
Speaking of Star
But that
Wars,
was pretty cool.
Yes.
have you guys seen any gameplay for Jedi Fallen Order?
No.
No, but I've heard many people talking about it.
It's pretty awesome looking, man. Like
So
the
I've heard.
graphics are on point. The gameplay, it seems really on point. It's kind of like a cross between, I guess you could see like maybe like a Metroidvania type of game, to where there's a lot of like collectible upgrades to your character, but also with like combat similar to Dark Souls, I guess you could say, where
I've heard that too. Like I've heard it's actually pretty difficult.
yeah, like you have to respect your opponents, wait for them to open themselves up, take advantage of them overextending, I guess you could say. And then also, if you die, you lose you have a chance to lose all of your experience that you gained. But one thing that they do that makes it a little easier in like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, stuff like that, as long as you hit the enemy you died to, then you'll get your experience back. Rather than like in Dark Souls, John, like say if you die to an enemy, you have to go kill that enemy to be able to get the experience points you
I
had
know.
prior to.
I saw Peter play it.
Oh, okay, so you're aware.
That was
Gotcha.
Bloodborne. Is it the same?
You're
as
talking about
Bloodborne?
Evo Weekend?
Was
What,
it
like
on
a couple
Evo
years
Weekend?
ago?
Weekend, yeah.
Okay, 2 different games.
Same idea though, same
yeah.
developers. But yeah, no, the game looks awesome and the characters seem really really sick as well. The lead antagonist, she seems like a brutal ass bitch and I love it. She seems awesome.
The dude I game share with, you guys met him. You remember Lewis?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So he just bought it. So by extension, that means I have it now.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm probably gonna jump on that pretty soon.
I mean, I haven't played it yet, but just based off what I've seen in gameplay, it seems like a fun ride. And really cool, like, new lore to the Star Wars universe. So
I gotta get Death Stranding.
Oh, dude, I was watching gameplay of that a couple weeks ago for a while.
Speaking of divisiveness in Star Wars, this game, from what I hear, people are either loving it or they fucking hate it. It's like there's like no middle ground whatsoever.
There's this one YouTuber that I like, and he pretty much just tweeted out when he bought the game. He's like, what the hell? Looks like it's time to deliver some mail. Something like that. Because it's essentially, you're like a delivery boy, but in like this crazy post-apocalyptic like universe, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much from the people that aren't fans of it. That's what they boil it down to. It's like it's Delivery Boy the game. Why would I spend time?
Is there action to it, or is it literally you're just taking a package from A to B?
There is action. Yeah.
Well, it's similar. From what I understand, it's similar to the Metal Gear franchise, where like straight up action isn't its focus. It's more
sneaking around.
I think
hiding
mechanically
in the
it's
box.
akin to Metal Gear.
Yeah. Which I'm down for.
And the graphics are pretty spectacular at points. I was watching this one boss battle, or two boss battles that kind of seemed a little boring, though. There was this one, it's like a giant, it's kind of a spoiler, but anyway, just to avoid story plot or anything like that, there's this flying boss enemy, and as long as you keep moving, it can't hurt you. The moment you stand still, though, for long enough, it does have one attack that'll kill you in one hit. Otherwise, it's not really much of a threat. You just shoot it with a rocket launcher when you
Sometimes
have the chance to.
Okay, so this reminds me. This reminds me of a boss battle in Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid 3,
which I heard is amazing for PlayStation 2, if I'm not mistaken.
It might be the best one in the Metal Gear franchise.
That's what I've heard.
Honestly.
But
anyway, like Hideo Kojima does stuff like that. So he'll make boss battles that aren't necessarily challenging, but they're unique. They're different. There's one where in the one I'm thinking of is, I think his name's the Spirit or the some shit like that. Where he's basically a ghost and he's like chasing you down a river, so you have to like wade through the river. And it's very similar. You just kind of have to dodge like other things that are kind of slowly coming at you.
Okay.
But it's not difficult, but it's just, this is the first time you actually encounter, you kind of like tidbits of this character you kind of see throughout the game, but this is the first time you actually encounter him one-on-one. So it's like narratively, it's like a huge deal, even if the encounter itself is some might consider to be underwhelming.
Sure, but at least it's probably more about the
build-up
experience
is great,
rather than the difficulty.
but the climax is lame.
Not necessarily, because it's that narrative makes it a bit more engaging. Even if the mechanics itself are the bit that's underwhelming, the narrative behind it is what makes it interesting.
Okay.
Gotcha. That kind of reminds me of now. I guess it's a topic we can speak of. I wouldn't call this boss battle underwhelming in any sort of way, but for one of these days, if you guys end up playing the latest God of War game, the first like true boss battle you fight in, it's not necessarily difficult. It's very cinematic. Very cinematic, and that's what makes it super fun. But at the same time, once you break the boss battle down to its core, you realize, as dramatic as it is, it's really not that difficult.
Yeah, right.
You more so just need to pay attention to what's going on, and you realize, oh no, this isn't meant to be super crazy difficult. Just more so like, just leave you in awe of what you're doing on screen and what's happening. It's
God
pretty
of
cool.
War as a franchise was one of the first games to really make that popular.
Yeah,
to really just make battles feel cinematic and feel like you're actually slaying this giant or whatever the fuck it is you're doing.
And this new one actually cranks it up to 11. It's pretty cool. It's pretty
I have it.
cool.
I'll play it eventually.
So you have it and you haven't played it?
I bought it on sale, like I think last year, Black Friday, but I never. Yeah.
When you have like 20 hours to set aside here and there for like a month, I would recommend. It's worth it. Maybe if you have like an extended break from work one of these days.
Destiny.
Fair enough. You could do your dailies, and then just pop in some God of War for a minute.
Yeah.
I think once you start it, you won't be able to put it down very easily. It's good. Oh, it's worth that for sure. Anything else Mandalorian Minute wise?
Oh,
Just
shit.
kind of went all around.
Yeah.
I rewatched or watched most of the Force Awakens.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was wondering if you would.
The movie still annoys me.
Oh, really? Annoys you?
Well, I mean, it's a rehash. It's so much of a rehash.
I see.
I love when they're talking about the planet,
Chewbacca,
and they actually say in the movie, so it's like the Death Star. No, it's bigger.
Star Killer base. Yeah. That's what makes it even worse. It's even bigger. That's true.
Yeah.
I rewatched that movie recently as well once Disney Plus came about, and I still really appreciate it, but at the same time, it is A New Hope all over again.
All over.
But I mean, even Last Jedi has a lot of themes akin to the original trilogy as well.
Why are they leaning so much into this shit? I don't understand that.
They know what works, so
much
they're
into
gonna
what?
work
Into
it.
the prequels or the original 3.
Because those are the ones everybody loves. Why wouldn't they? Those are the
Well,
ones
that's why we got the
unanimously.
shitty. What 3 that's coming up? The third one that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard those reports that people have been walking out from like the screenings?
Really? No.
Who knows if that's actually true? But
right. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's crazy though. I kind of doubt
And
it.
even if it is true, it could be some. There's 2 women in this scene. Feminism. I'm out, or something. You know. Because there was a lot of complaints about that in The Last Jedi. Like, what are all
Oh
these
my
girls
God.
doing in the? Why is the fleet commander a girl? She's not worthy.
Oh my god. No, actually, I rather enjoy the female characters than Last Jedi. Some of them are pretty damn badass. I'll put it that way. But at the same time, I mean,
I will say again, some of the writing in this particular character that I was talking about, maybe not the best. Not that it's her fault, but it's
I
just
think I
like,
know what
wait
you're
a
talking
second.
she
about.
still happens to be a girl, and
And I was like, wait
the
a
way
second,
she's written
why?
is terrible.
When we review
Why?
Last Jedi pretty soon, I look forward to seeing who you're talking about because I think I know. But
Yeah.
well, we can get into that in a future date for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I look forward to it. But anyway, cool. What else we got, John?
Well, fuck. Let's get to news, right?
Yeah, go for it.
So
Tesla truck.
well, fuck this.
What?
Tesla truck. You didn't.
They're
hear about
making a
this?
truck?
You didn't. See, how did you not see this, AJ? You've been living under a rock for the past week.
You haven't
Yeah.
seen the Tesla truck?
I have
Okay.
not seen the
Is that what you meant by car?
That's exactly what I
Oh,
meant by
wow.
car.
Okay,
I've been
gotcha.
holding it in. I couldn't hold it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, John.
Peter in our
wanna
notes
vamp while I
put
look
a
it up?
single word, car. And now we're about to, or I'm about to see what it's all about.
So they were during this press conference that they showed it. He was talking about Elon, talking about how his windows are indestructible. So they had the host get a rock and throw it at the windows,
Shit.
and they broke.
And it just.
Oh my god, how embarrassing.
You want to know what's even funnier? They doubled down on it immediately. Just like, I guess I threw it a little too hard. Let's try that again. Boom. And it did it again.
I think he even says "fuck." Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, this is it.
This is, it looks cool. I'm down. I'm down.
Pretty awful.
Once they get the window thing right. God damn. Wow.
I, not saying I'm a fan, but I do love this.
It looks cool.
Because of how fucking ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
I can't, this
Are
is
you gonna
such
own
a
it, Peter?
strange...
Would you own it?
Maylee's asked me about it, and I was like, yeah, no. You never buy first
Cost
generation.
$1 million.
You
But
never...
second
Yeah,
gen,
obviously
just as
the windows
ugly.
can't even be as indestructible as they say.
Not really. What the fuck am I
going
gonna
to
do
years
with
from
this?
now? It was just like a.
It's actually pretty cheap, too.
Really?
Starting was 40K.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
I mean, you can buy a Tesla for $40K, so that makes sense.
I guess so.
The
It
ugly
also
Tesla.
makes sense why the windows don't work so hot yet.
Yeah,
You would think at the demo, though, they would have
They would've-
tested this beforehand or something. I don't know what.
$1 billion company. Billions of
I'm
dollars.
surprised more people aren't talking about that, because that is fucking humiliating.
I need to go back and watch this video eventually. That sounds awesome.
But anyway, I mean, I don't know. It's cool. It's just strange to think that we live in a timeline where something like this can happen. Sort
and
of
people are buying it.
Is it just like an electric truck, or is there
Yeah.
anything special about it
It's
beyond
an
that?
electric truck.
It's
I mean,
windows
it's
will
also
break and a
reinforced
strong
windows. Yep.
breeze. Wow.
You can take a bullet, but not a rock. Just remember
I'm,
that.
Right.
I'm really shocked you haven't seen any, but people are photoshopping it
No.
into like GoldenEye from '64. That
was a great one.
Warthog. Like it's just, it's great. I love it.
I have not. I need to check this out. I've been on Twitter more so lately too, and I didn't see anything. Maybe the people.
You're
I've-
following the wrong
Yeah,
people.
I
right
guess
there.
That's all I
so.
gotta say.
I guess so. Damn. Fair enough. Okay. What else we got, Mr. John?
Will you put housekeeping, AJ?
Oh yeah. So since I was gone last episode, I listened to it. I mean I edited the episode and I listened through it one time through anyway afterward. So how bidets work. You guys were curious as to if there's like something you use to aim with or anything like that?
Well, that part I was just fucking around.
Oh,
but-
okay. I was gonna say
But
well,
It just shoots
but
up,
I
yeah.
was curious if you can position it, like if you're just like not quite in the middle where I want it to be, and then
It's in my balls just a
Yeah.
bit too much.
well, in my personal bidet experiences,
Oh.
in life.
First-hand encounters.
Well, first of all,
you heard it here first.
two people I'm
STGeek
sitting
exclusive.
really close to, Miss Yvonne and Mr. John here. Yvonne's John's girlfriend off to the side, hanging out with us. Great to have her. So you guys stayed at a house this past weekend where there is, in fact, a bidet.
Yeah.
You guys could have utilized that.
No, I'm okay.
No.
I was scared.
I mean, it's
what about
not-
if I broke it?
You know what? I was nervous about it for a couple weeks too, and then finally I was like, you know what?
You work up the courage?
This is like my third time since I've seen this bidet that I'm house sitting. I'm just gonna try it. I'm all alone. If there's something that goes wrong, I can just clean it up. I have a week. Anyway, so that happened. So I went for it. And as far as aiming goes, you kind of just have to maneuver yourself at that point. The stream shoots, and you're like, oh, it's getting me there. I'm just going to move myself so it gets me here. There we go. Pretty much like that. You got to.
Do you wipe before or after or during?
Okay, good question. So I've developed my own technique,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
feel like I need another one. I've heard of these amazing Japanese bidets. I think you might have talked about it
Yes.
slightly last week, Peter. So the thing is this. So ours, or
I'm on the edge of my seat.
at my parents' house where it is, it's just a standard attachment, I believe. It's not hooked up to it's not like an actual toilet bidet at all. But it still works. It does the main function anyway of spraying your butt or wherever you need it to spray for that matter. So I just let it go. I'll just let it go, do its thing. And you actually can apply different levels of pressure too.
Nice. You're
Depending
like,
on the mess,
you're like,
I guess.
that was a nasty shit.
Right?
Full blast.
Absolutely. So you can do that. But then
Phasers in their upright attack position.
the only issue is the drying method after that. What do you do? So maybe this is too much information.
Please tell me you got an air dryer.
There is no air dryer. Other than just the air around you. So I just give a nice little booty shake, and that's about it.
That's it?
That's all you can do,
don't
unless
go-
You
you
don't
want to
use
get
toilet
like a
paper
designated
to-
towel or something like that.
Get like some toilet paper.
Yeah,
and
no,
dry
Nah,
yourself.
if your butt's wet, that toilet paper is gonna like break off and
I
stick
mean,
to
if
your
you're
butt.
using nasty toilet or cheap toilet paper,
Yeah.
Nah,
you got a
It
bidet.
isn't
You
even
spend a little
still-
bit more on
they,
toilet
they
paper.
Supply.
they use pretty good toilet paper there. It's like clouds, but at the same time, even if it's like 5-ply toilet paper, it's still some of it's gonna rub off, and you don't want dingleberries. You don't want that in your
So
life.
walking around
Well,
with
just
wet
leaving
chonies.
it with wet. Yeah. How was that?
With
how was
wet
that
ass?
better? Swamp butt.
No. Well, that's when if you realize like, oh, things aren't perfect, I'm gonna go back for a second spray. But yeah, that's how bidets work. That's how that bidet works anyway.
Damn, this is one fancy looking toilet. I'm looking up.
He's looking
really?
it up.
But yes, the ones I've heard about in Japan, they have like a warm air
a fucking
dryer that
toilet?
just blows on your butt until you're good, which seems amazing.
It's like an egg.
Wow.
I'd be into that. And oh wow, it does look like an egg. Looks like an egg in a
Looks
wall.
like a giant AirPod case.
Whoa.
So-
It looks like Baby Yoda belongs in that
I can see him hovering in it right now.
Maybe that's what they use as a prop. It actually does look pretty damn similar.
thing. Yeah.
It's adorable now that you think about it. Oh my god. But yeah, that's how that bidet works anyway. You just kind of
You ever
spray
just
and go.
make a mess? Like it just kind of
No.
sprays outside of the toilet area?
If you're not sitting on it, then the water's got to go somewhere. Yeah, but no, I usually sit on it
Is there a
beforehand.
locking mechanism so kids don't fuck with it and get your toilet all wet, or your bathroom all wet?
I don't think so. At least not this
Somebody
one.
can just show up. What does this button do?
I know, right? Yeah, if you just turn, it's like a little knob. If you turn it, then it will crank it open and let it blast. So essentially, I guess if you wanted to, if you turn the pressure high enough, it would hit the wall in front of it.
Damn, that's a lot
Anyway,
of pressure.
that's
A lot
how
of pressure
bidets
on my
work.
butt. Just how I like it.
Oh no, I don't go full pressure. That thing hurts actually.
Oh my god.
Damn,
It's
okay.
pretty.
Strong.
If
Well.
you want it to be, it will be powerful. It's the second order of housekeeping business I wanted to do. So you were like, you guys. Well, I imagine you guys were somewhat joking, but maybe not also. So I was gone in San Diego on for my sister's wedding and all that. That was fun. But you guys were saying like, oh yeah, he's probably off drunk somewhere. What time did you record the podcast that day? Because I'm trying to figure out if I was in fact
Was
drunk
it in
yet
the
or not.
morning?
I think it was.
Okay. If I was, if
No, it was around noon. Remember? Because you came a bit late.
Yes, it
Noontime.
was around noon.
So it was like in the early afternoon.
do you guys remember what day it was?
Was it Saturday?
I'm just really trying to narrow down if I was truly drunk.
I want to say it was Saturday.
It was because I stopped by work.
Saturday.
I was
Ooh.
at work. Yeah, I ended
Yeah.
up showing up around noon. I was at work beforehand, and then I came over here.
So it was Saturday, early afternoon.
Saturday early afternoon.
How drunk were you, AJ?
I probably
Not
had a
were
beer
you
in.
drunk?
I probably
How
had a
drunk?
beer in at that point. Yeah, at least one. At least one, because what we had breakfast,
One beer, but cocktails?
cocktails.
How many cocktails?
Okay, at that point, if you're talking about early afternoon,
truth
probably
comes
just the
out.
one beer.
Okay.
Because we had like an after wedding breakfast the following morning. That was nice. No alcohol there, just a lot of coffee. And then afterward, went out to the spot I was telling you guys about, Water Grill. That was really nice. Had a beer there. Afterward, Sin and I just went on a romp around town. Just had a great time. So yeah, eventually the drunkenness came, but I started and paced myself nicely. I'll put it that way. But yeah, I was just trying to figure out. Yeah, maybe was I actually drunk by the time they were talking about it? Possibly.
I don't think so.
That's all.
Well, maybe.
I'd believe it.
Let me ask you, if I was there, do you think you would have been drunk?
Probably sooner than I was. Yes. It took me till about maybe 4 or 5
Oh,
p.m.
yeah, we would have been messed up way before that.
Oh, no. AJ paced himself very well, even though I was Ubering around town quite a lot. At the same time, I just didn't want to go home feeling like shit. That's all.
It's a nasty feeling.
So, actually, now that I think about it, Sin and I went out to Claremont to meet up with some friends, JJ, and we got drunk later on that night. It was terrible. It was just a long last day of drinking. Well, last day of the weekend, I should say. I'll word it that way. But anyway, that's my housekeeping for the week. I just wanted to see.
It's called day
Nice.
drinking, Charlie Brown.
Right?
Day drinking. All right, so you have something talking about the PS5 test kit?
Oh yeah. So there's some developer kits that were sent out, and the dev kit for the console itself looks ridiculous. It's obviously not going to be what it looks like at the end. It has like a bunch of vents for proper ventilation, obviously, and it looks like super crazy huge, which is kind of silly to look at. But the controller, the DualShock 5 controller anyway, was on top of it. And it just looks like a standard PlayStation controller. It doesn't look like the boomerang for the PS3 from back in the day.
Oh, Jesus
If you guys
Christ,
remember
yes.
that.
Oh,
the
man.
silver boomerang. That was kind of fun. I was almost a little disappointed that it didn't turn out to be the actual design. But
That would have been dope, though. It would have
would've
been
been
terrible, but
I
would have been
mean,
dope.
we've had some weird
It would have been the
controllers over
Tesla
years.
truck of its time for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure people would have tested its boomerang abilities if it actually
And it would have broke.
came out.
Just
Yeah,
as easily.
absolutely. That would be a good YouTube video, actually, now that I think about it. But anyway, it didn't look like anything fancy. For all we know, it's not the final design. But if you think about it, over the past, I guess, several generations now, PlayStation's really only switched up the design of their controllers most recently with the PS4. That's the only one that really looks that different. Because it has the touch panel on the front side of it.
Oh,
the
yes.
actual controller itself looks a little more smaller and a little more rounded and sleek as opposed to the standard DualShock design of PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 generations, I guess you can say.
Right.
So yeah, it looked kind of like the PS4 controller to me. Didn't look very different at all, but who's to say that they won't add more functionality to it by the time the console launches, probably next fall or winter, I'd imagine.
I wonder how light it's going to be.
I don't know,
Because
because
the DualShock 4 compared to the DualShock 3 is like stupid light.
right,
Yeah,
which I'm
ridiculous
kind of
light.
fine with. I don't feel like I'm going to break it, but it also does feel like it is just light
It's
in
just
general.
every time I pick it up, which isn't often, because again, I'm playing on Xbox most of the time. But whenever I do, I'm just like, fuck. This thing, I feel like I'm gonna break it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It doesn't have the same what's the rumble capabilities as an Xbox One controller. Maybe that's why. Mm-hmm. There's a little more into what goes into the Xbox controller as far as rumble goes.
Isn't there like a dynamic rumble feedback or something?
Yeah.
That they started pushing like a couple years back.
My dog bit into one of my original Xbox One controllers, and you can see actually what
The
makes it
spinning thing?
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
the whirring that goes on. It's kind of neat.
You leave a lot of things in low places because I'm always hearing you like, yeah, my dog broke my headset again. My dog broke my cord. My dog broke.
Time to get rid of the dog, AJ.
I know, right? Too expensive.
Maybe you need to get some higher shelves or something.
I do need to get higher shelves for when dogs are younger, because nowadays they don't do that anymore. But when they're in their teething stage, oh yeah, they have
fuck shit up.
destroyed so many of my devices. It sucks. Or just things I care about in general. But nowadays they're a lot more chill about it. But anyway, yeah, that's just all I wanted to talk about with that. It looks all right, but I had a question. What do you think is your favorite video game controller design?
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast controller. Okay, got you. For just looks or actually feel?
Oh, it looks.
Okay, got you.
It was
does
ahead
look
of its
insane.
time.
Gotcha.
Maybe too ahead of its time.
It kind of looks like a
A little
hammerhead
bit too
shark.
ahead. I love the memory card, how it had the display on it.
I wish I owned that console so I could have gotten to know that functionality better. Because I get it, but I just didn't really get to use it.
Yep.
It's
And
kind
it
of
had like little built-in games, or if you owned certain games, you were able to do certain little mini games on it. So I liked it.
Was there a Sonic minigame?
There was with the little
The chows.
The chows.
Oh, okay. Would you like
Hated
raise
those
it
ones.
if you take it with you some places?
I think it turned
or-
into like a Tamagotchi or some
Yeah.
shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
With the Sonic one, yeah.
that's legit. I like that. What about you, Peter?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
There's some weird ones out
Oh, the
there.
64 was pretty good.
I was gonna
too.
say
64
Well,
was
the
insane.
64 was fucking ridiculous. Like I think it deserves an honorable mention just for how bizarre and out of left field it was.
It was like the PS3 original Boomerang controller, but with a center piece as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a center handle. Yeah, I remember playing it back then, and after owning that console for years, I still wasn't quite sure how to use it all the time. Like, thank God they eventually came up with the second dual stick, or a control stick, if you will, for the right side. Because back in those days, you would have to, like, say if you were playing GoldenEye, you could use the 4 C buttons to actually, like, look up and down.
Move the camera and
Right.
whatnot.
Yeah. Otherwise, and the other video games used it for that functionality as well, but it just wasn't implemented that great. I don't know.
I remember
Really
a lot
weird
of people
controller.
bitching about that controller, but I never had any issues with it.
It was fun. I like
Neither
it.
did
Like
I.
you would just switch between the D-pad or the joystick, and it would still feel very fluid and
True.
Like, just
Yes.
it never felt out of place at all.
I think as long as the game developers, like for specific games, designed it to work, then it worked great. Like Star Fox, it was perfect for. I feel
Fucking amazing on Star Fox.
it was
Yeah.
great also for Super Mario 64, the launch title of the damn console. That was great. Banjo-Kazooie was another great game. It used I feel like it used similar functions to what Mario did as well, with some added technique and added detail to how the controller works with it. So it was pretty intuitive to a degree. But yeah, another controller. I mean, I think Nintendo kind of takes the cake.
I was gonna say Super Nintendo. Honestly, is probably my favorite.
Oh, it's
In
so
terms
cool
of
looking.
actually playing games, I loved it.
It was tight. It was a day before, or years before, like control sticks came to play. But for what it is, it was really cool. I loved it for. I feel like fighting games still use what it gave us to this day. Like you have, like for instance, if you're playing on pad for a fighting game, you have your light, medium, and then heavy punches, and usually the heavy attacks are now
shoulder buttons.
on the
triggers, yeah.
on the shoulders, which is what it was back then when I would play Super Street Fighter 2 and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of neat. Like that hasn't really changed much. It's kind of cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna break the mold.
oh, yeah,
And I'm
please.
definitively say that I think the
Oh, boy.
360 is my favorite controller.
It is a very comfortable
Because
controller.
it kind of just took the things that came before it, like the Super Nintendo and even the 64, and kind of just made the standard for it, I think.
Yes.
Or just improved upon it, made it comfortable.
It was a vast improvement over the original Xbox controller.
Yeah, the
whether you're
Duke.
talking about the gigantic
Yeah.
one or even the smaller version.
which was like a weird knockoff of the Dreamcast controller.
Yeah, you could
Which
say
is
that.
huge.
I don't
Never
know.
got to touch it.
Oh, really?
I've never played an Xbox.
You don't want to. You don't want. Well, the original
was
Xbox
alright.
was great, but it definitely needed that smaller version of the controller to make it better. I
Which
don't
they
know.
had, like third-party ones had less ridiculous ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, even when Xbox eventually created the smaller version of their main controller, that was a lot better than the Giganto
Yep.
one that they had originally.
Yeah, the Duke.
The Duke is that
Yep.
what they call it? I never
shit.
knew that. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What a name.
It's like a fucking heavy frisbee. It's weird, but I think I'd have to go with. And again, I have to go with Nintendo on this. It took a little while to get used to, but the GameCube controller. It didn't make the most sense. But depending on the game, it was really fun. I think the C-Stick, again, they didn't really get that second analog stick placement right yet, because before the generation before that, you had the C buttons, and then it became the C-Stick with the GameCube. But for what it was, it worked pretty well. I'll
Fucking
say
hated
that.
the GameCube.
Yeah,
controller.
did you really? Weird.
I liked it.
Because the triggers are like the two bumpers are fine. They're just like regular buttons, but the two triggers had like some spring. You had to like press them down a bit before you actually activated it.
Depending
So,
on
like,
the
there was-
game, it would do different things.
Yeah,
like if
but-
you only half pushed, then it would do something, and if you fully click down, like you're saying, then it would have another functionality. Depending on the video game, of course. They're not all like that. But
Yeah,
no,
but the ones that weren't
is
like
true.
that, it was bullshit. It was fucking bullshit.
Did you ever use it for melee, like the trigger? How there's different functionality for it.
Fuck.
So if you
It's been
didn't
so long, I don't
push
remember.
fully down, you would have the lighter shade of that larger shield for blocking in melee. You would have that. And then if you held it down all the way, it would become the more darker shade and smaller shield. It was kind of neat.
What?
There are 2 different shields in Melee. It's kind of neat.
It's a lighter shield and a darker shield?
Yeah, like different shades and different sizes.
So what
too.
do they do?
Yeah, what's the point?
If I'm not mistaken, the lighter and bigger one had more durability, and if you held the button down all the way, then that would give you what we know as the shield to this day, the standard shield, and that one I believe was not as durable, if I'm not
So
mistaken.
you would only need to use the light shield.
Maybe, but at the same time, it wasn't as easy to use because you had to be more sensitive on your button push for it. It was weird. It was very weird.
Well, I'm glad I didn't get into that.
Really? Didn't know about that tech? It's
I didn't
weird.
need it. All I played was Glenn and Diego.
Oh, fair enough. There
I
you
would
go.
still beat them all the time.
I may be slightly inaccurate in memory, but I believe that's how it worked.
All
If
right.
you want to correct me, whoever's listening,
You're gonna get
go for it.
corrected.
I'm down. I'll take it. I'll take my medicine. All right. So, John, you brought up Doom in BP2.
What's BP?
You tell
No,
me.
I'm playing Black Panther. There's just rumors going around now that Doctor Doom is going to be in Black Panther 2. I'm not okay with that.
No,
But I think you were the one who said that you would like for them just to throw in Doom. None of this Fantastic Four origin story.
I don't need all that. It would make more sense, I think, quote unquote, make more sense to make that happen. But
I mean,
cool
we
to
didn't get
just have him-
we didn't get a background story on Claw.
Yeah, that's very true. And he ended up being a really cool villain, I think.
He's great.
Yeah, short-lived. Spoilers, but still great.
Speaking of Claw, I actually rewatched Age of Ultron. I think last week, and they set up for Black Panther in that
yeah, they
movie.
do.
I was like, "Holy crap!" They're really hinting at Black Panther
With the
in here.
vibranium and the
They actually
claw
bring
thing.
up Wakanda.
That's awesome.
That
'Cause
movie is a hard PG-13.
Oh yeah, it's a darker film.
A hard PG. I was surprised all the cursing that's going on in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember it was a big deal where Chris Evans, Captain America, said that's his ass. It's like, oh, he cussed, but there were cursing in Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Like a word I have not heard in any other Marvel movie. Not a big curse word, but dick move.
Oh,
I
that does
was
sound
like,
familiar.
oh shit!
Yeah.
He just Robert Downey Jr. just said he did a dick move.
Right?
Crazy. So I enjoyed it a lot more this time around.
Agreed.
So-
Sin and I watched Age of Ultron a couple years ago, and it was a fun revisiting. Like I look forward to watching it again because it was better upon second and third viewing more recently. I do agree. Actually, has a lot going on for it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it has its
So
flaws.
that thing that I said a while back
With
about
the-
how Infinity War makes Age of Ultron a bit better.
Yes, and also Black Panther for that matter as well. Yes. Yeah.
I said this a long time
It
he
ago.
does
says
hold up.
Endgame in the movie.
Y'all laughed at me. I think John did.
I was gonna say I personally appreciate Ultron to a degree. I think it's a really fun movie. Like I mean, you get the drinking scene, and they're all trying to lift the hammer and all that fun stuff.
By the way,
That's good.
now that Endgame is on, or now that Disney Plus is out, and Endgame is on that, and I've seen that a few more times. There's a few like little things that I didn't pick up just little bullshit throwaway things. Like when they're trying to steal the Tesseract back, and Thor and past Thor and past RDJ are walking, and they ask him like, "Hey, what are you doing with that thing? That's ours." And then Thor says, "Well, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna take Loki back to Asgard, but not before we grab some lunch." Which kind of hits to that which harkens back to that post-credit scene in Avengers where they have shawarma.
They have shawarma. Yes.
Shawarma.
It's such a stupid, small throwaway line, and it's like, oh fuck, they're acknowledging that dumb thing that they did. It's really funny.
No, that's cool. They definitely paid attention to the details. That's really cool. I can appreciate that. Yeah, I need to see that movie more. I've only seen it like
I'd recommend
twice.
it. I did like Ultron.
Oh, Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Like
of
the
course.
actual villain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watch it.
I need to watch it
California's
again. I
great.
remember not being too big of a fan.
I had a great
They
time.
could have
didn't
done a
hate
lot.
it,
They could have
but-
done a lot more with him, but for what it was, I mean,
He's an evil bastard of a robot. I liked him.
Yeah, but he doesn't feel very evil. He feels.
You don't think so?
Like Tony Stark. He doesn't feel like
Well-
the Ultron in the comics, where he's just like the Marvel Brainiac.
I see.
well, have you seen like how his head shows up in the Spider-Man movie? He might still be alive.
No. Oh.
Like he's looking through like tech, and you can actually see Ultron's face, and the eyes are lit up.
I've heard about this. I haven't seen it though.
Yeah, it's in Homecoming. I believe that's the first Spider-Man movie.
Yes. Yes.
Crazy, right? So He's still out there.
It's possible.
That'd be
Possibly.
so cool to bring him back.
I'm
He's
into
just
it.
slowly been getting stronger.
That would be awesome. Bring him back better than before. I'm down.
Why aren't they
so
bringing
down.
him back for that weird non-canon VR experience?
Oh, I think is he the bad guy in that?
Yeah.
He's the villain? Oh, okay, possibly. That's already out, by the way.
Is?
I need to go out and do it. It sounds like fun. We should do that.
Down.
That'd be so much fun.
The
Go
thing
to
is,
downtown Disney.
there's no way that's canon, right?
Grab some dinner.
Well, they
get some
brought back
drinks.
voice actors for certain characters, so I mean,
That's
it might be.
awesome.
Like I know Paul Rudd did his voice for the Ant-Man.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
A few actors went back to voice their characters.
Because all of the characters, at least that I saw, are characters that are prominent in the MCU, which might just be a byproduct of the MCU being the most popular version of these characters.
Right.
But I couldn't
course.
help but think, like, is this canon? Or is this
I mean,
it wouldn't. I mean, it couldn't be, right? Because in it, you're getting recruited as like a Avenger wannabe, some bullshit. I don't fucking know.
agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I don't think it's canon.
All right.
Not at all.
I
There's,
doubt
bring
it would be
Ultron
dumb.
Just something fun. Yeah.
Make Ultron great again.
I'm down with
And
that.
Vision's gone. I mean, who's gonna stop him at this point?
Yeah.
Vision's gone for now.
Vision was
anyway.
weird.
You didn't like him?
He was whatever.
Just
feel like
in
there
that
wasn't
movie,
enough
it's just
for
so. I don't know. I'm not gonna. It's just so weird. I've only seen that movie once. Maybe I'll need to watch it again.
They got Disney Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
That's
there.
the only reason I watched it. I was like, okay, it's time.
Enough. The wounds have healed. Enough time has passed.
Yeah.
Give it
It's a
another
different movie compared to the other.
Absolutely.
I mean, it does feel a lot like the first Avengers, which was the issue. Is people just said it was like
try. It was like Avengers 2.5.
Like, yeah.
Or 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, I could see that.
But it's still different than Infinity War and Endgame. Different
sure.
directors, different writers.
different tone as well.
Mhm. So
Very
it's a
different
nice,
tone.
different kind of storytelling.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that for sure.
I don't know.
So, speaking of Marvel news,
Yeah.
Felt like
everything-
Iron Man 2 syndrome. Sorry, I'm still on this.
No, it's okay.
It felt like they were, like, especially in hindsight, it feels like Age of Ultron was doing a lot of setup for following movies, and then they didn't make that movie good enough because they were so focused on what was to come.
But I don't feel like they built up that much for.
I mean,
Endgame.
you have Tony Stark's vision of like all the Avengers dying. You have like the seeds that they
but
plant
none
for
of them
Black
died.
Panther.
He was still going through his fucking shit from the first Avengers movie. I don't think that was like a build up to Endgame or Infinity
It was a
War.
foreshadow for it. It was like all of his friends died. But
But none of them died.
that scene, that doesn't matter. That scene is what spawned his whole neuroses of we got to put a shield around the earth, a suit of armor around the earth. And he even says it in Infinity War when he hears about Thanos. He's like, "This is it.
This
Like,
is what I
this
try
is-
to prepare for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, but he's always the guy who's doing stupid shit because he also wanted superheroes to reveal who they were. I don't think.
Which is
That's
again
why he
in
wanted a
response
suit of
to
armor in every
yes,
city.
which is again in response to that the neuroses that Vision caused. In addition to also realizing that that one lady's son died in whatever.
He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong.
He was not wrong.
I'm pro registration. all
I'm
day.
totally against it.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Chris
Civil
Evans
War.
with the I know, right? Come at me, bitch.
Clearly, he was not correct because Chris Evans kicked his ass. Well, he and Bucky.
He could grow the better beard.
Yeah.
That's what did it for me.
Very good. Fair
It
enough.
might be a fake beard, but
I don't think so. I think he could do it.
I think it was real, wasn't it? Wasn't he rocking a beard for a while? And
Was
then he rocked that weird 70s porn mustache for a while, Chris Evans.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It did not
Oh,
look
yeah, it
great
did
either.
not.
no,
No, it wasn't for
he
him.
could have Henry Cavill it.
No.
No,
not at
I mean,
all.
who can really? It all goes back to the Man Crush of 2019 episode. Go back and listen to that, everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, in conclusion, Age of Ultron's not good.
Yeah. Okay,
Until I watch it again, my opinion stands.
That's fine.
Okay, that's cool.
I respect it.
And yeah, good times.
Speaking of pro registration, so there's been some leaks of footage of Tony Stark being in the Black Widow movie. I mean, we knew that the character was going to reappear, or at least everyone have figured he would
Since
still
it's
reappear.
a prequel, he's not dead.
Yeah, I'm just saying that
She's not
he's
dead either,
He's
so.
obviously yeah, right, exactly.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
She's not dead in this?
I thought it was about a ghost.
I guess I'm just trying to
I'd watch
say
that.
that
So would I.
we figured he would probably make some more appearances, but it's just interesting to see that, like, yeah, he's definitely not quite done with the MCU. Robert Downey Jr. anyway.
That's gonna be weird.
It will be
Because
please, how?
there's two ways they could do it. They're gonna make it like a whatever thing, like, oh, here's Tony Stark, because you remember you get to see him one last time because he died. Or they're gonna make it a big thing. They're gonna make it all dramatic, like Tony Stark's gonna come and do an epic thing because it's like, oh, he's not around anymore. Like they're gonna try to tug on your heartstrings a bit that way. And either way feels cheap. It doesn't feel like it has its place.
We'll see. Maybe it will make perfect sense as to why he's there. Maybe it'll just be a quick little thing. Maybe it'll be more of a throwaway to where it's not even that necessary. But who knows? I'm just, again, I saw the footage or I saw the pictures. I was like, oh, that's kind of really interesting.
Was he in his Iron Man suit or was it just...
He's dressed as Tony Stark. He's got a suit on and everything.
Okay.
Not the Iron Man, not a mark design or anything like that.
Okay.
He's just Tony Stark. But it was weird. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. I don't know what they're going to be, how they're going to spin the web of this idea. But we'll see.
All right.
I just thought it was interesting.
I am uninterested.
Oh, really? Okay. Fair enough.
I'm gonna watch the movie. Hopefully, I'm gonna enjoy it.
I hope so.
It sounds good.
Yeah,
I wasn't hyped for it at all.
Taskmaster's in it,
But yeah,
I
now-
love me some Taskmaster
I wonder if it'll explain why he's not in the more recent films.
because he dies in
believe
this
He's
one.
gonna die.
Sucks.
It's a prequel, my friend.
Yeah.
It's Taskmaster.
He dead. He dead.
though. Maybe he's gonna go underground.
Don't get too
No.
attached to Baby Yoda.
That's true.
He's
That
gonna
char-
die.
That character's not in the sequel trilogy.
No,
So
that's
I
a good
know,
point.
right?
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it's true. And those things
And that
live
is
to
the
like 900
Mandalorian.
years
I mean,
old.
he's probably still babysitting.
Well, he doesn't have anything to do with anything
That is Baby Yoda, apparently. Not yet.
because he's dead.
Maybe he's in
gonna die.
hiding. There's no way. Okay, well, they're gonna at least
He's
stretch this character
dead.
for like another couple
He's
seasons.
not gonna die.
He's dead.
They're not.
Disney
gonna-
is like, Jon Favreau, don't you dare kill this character. We're gonna kill you, essentially.
At this point, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The villagers are gonna come with the pitchforks and the flames, and you ain't gonna kill that character.
I saw this mock-up T-shirt. It said, "We must protect Baby Yoda at all costs."
Oh,
or some
yeah.
shit like that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep. At
Burn
all
Baby
costs.
Groot to keep that baby warm.
It's so sad.
But he's dead.
But oh yeah, I agree with it though. At the end,
I don't. I think he's alive.
Wishful
Oh
thinking.
really?
Yeah.
He's dead.
We'll see. They live for like 900
Okay,
years.
so let's
Call it now, he's dead.
let's record this episode.
right.
You can edit it in. Peter, I'm sorry, you were right. He's dead.
He's dead.
Or Peter, you're a jackass. He's alive. I told you.
He'll be dead in season 2.
Dang.
Okay.
We'll see.
So you're saying that
No hope for
season
Baby
2 he'll be
Yoda.
dead?
By
That's what you're saying.
season 2,
By season 2 he'll be dead. We got to mark down this
which
episode.
means it could.
I know,
be,
right?
Which means it could still be episode
53
season 1.
minutes in. Cool. Now we know.
He ain't dead.
He's gonna die.
He ain't gonna die.
He gonna die.
He got the force.
He gonna die.
Yeah, it made him pass out.
I don't know. No one was able to kill Yoda though, except for time. Anyway, moving on. On that note, okay, so I didn't watch Mandalorian, but I did watch The Irishman.
Terrible, AJ.
It's a
Terrible.
pretty good movie. Pretty
I'm
good.
not
I'm not
gonna-
going to get into it very much. 3.5 hours is a long
I plan
time.
on watching it now that it's on Netflix, especially.
Oh yeah, all the bathroom breaks. I didn't take one, but now you have the
You got the option.
chance
You can
to.
have your beers and pee in peace.
Absolutely. Actually, I did something really dumb when I watched it.
Go
Use
figure.
the bidet.
I did. That's not a dumb move at all. That's a genius move. I want one in every home I live in from now on, or in every bathroom of a home that I live in from now on. What was I going to say? I ate really spicy wings. For those, Buffalo Wild Wings does not sponsor us, but you should. I tried 4 blazing wings along with my 8 mango habanero. It was spicy,
choice.
but I liked
Good
it.
choice.
I can handle it better now. But I was like, this might be a problem while watching this movie. This might turn
Jesus
into like a
Christ.
7-hour trek, 3 hours for the movie, but 4-hour breaks to clean my bowels, but to clear them anyway. But no, it was a cool movie though. It was really good. I mean, Robert De Niro, the other Robert. I did that earlier this morning. I'm still waking up. Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino are pretty crazy in this movie. I love it. It was cool. I can't say I love it yet. Upon second 3.5 hour viewing, maybe I'll love it. But it was cool.
Was it a smooth 3.5 hours, or did it feel like 3.5 hours?
Maybe at one point towards like the beginning, maybe like the first 45 minutes, I wasn't that in love with it. But then over time, you really start to appreciate the characters. You kind of forget that these are actors on screen, and you get invested in these characters a bit. It was cool. It was like a less action-packed Goodfellas, if you guys have seen that movie.
Of course.
It's a good film. But it doesn't need to be so like, bam, explosion, bam, you're killing that person, bam, you're killing that person. Oh, this guy is such a badass. It's not like that. It's definitely more of a slow burn, as you can tell with a 3.5 hour movie. You have to fill it out with other things.
Story?
I can't say 100%, but I would say loosely based on true events and real people.
Most things, most adaptations are very loosely based.
Right, and I would probably say that this one is too. However, they do... Well, I'll save it. You guys can watch it. There are some things that are interesting about it for sure, though. But yeah, it's kind of just an interesting movie. If I had to...
Is it
people,
better than Marvel movies? Is it cinema?
Is it cinema? Mm-hmm. That is the question. I would say it's definitely cinema. I kind of want to go and see if I can find a theater that's still playing it, because I do want to experience it like that. I feel like in the comfort of my bedroom watching it wasn't probably the optimal way of viewing it.
You can't watch The Mandalorian for an hour, but you're going to dedicate a second 3 hours to this movie in the theater?
3.5. Yeah, I want to.
For shame.
Fuck you, AJ.
I'm going to watch The Mandalorian. I'm going to watch it. This is like an Oscar worthy film, and so I had to see it. I've been wanting to see this movie for like months now, so I had to take time to watch it. But anyway, no, it's really cool. I would recommend it. It's a good film, as long as you can set aside the 3.5 hours to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
And skip a Mandalorian episode here and there. Just kidding.
Terrible man.
Don't ever do that.
Terrible,
Don't
terrible
do that
man.
to Baby Yoda.
Baby, this movie does not have that. I'll give you that. Robert Downey Jr., Robert De Niro
Again. Come on, AJ.
is the cute old man in the movie, though. I'll give him that. He becomes one. I'll just say that. Anyway, but yeah. All right, John, take us away.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about Knives Out, but before we do that, if you have any kind of suggestions, AJ fucking watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
you
that's more of a demand.
A necessity you can
for
suggest it,
borderlining on
and then
threat.
Get the pitchforks ready. You can message us on Twitter, Instagram, or Gmail at STGeek.
STGeek Pod. There you go. You guys missed the pod.
You didn't
last
let him
week.
finish. He was just building that.
Yes.
Pod.
Did we not say pod?
I didn't let you guys finish last week either, and then you freaking missed it. Yes. Go on.
Yeah. Give us 5 stars on all. What can they listen to us on? Spotify.
Everywhere. If you Google this podcast, it'll pop up in more apps than I've applied us to be on. It's kind of neat.
Oh,
nice. We're on iHeartRadio and shit like that.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of cool.
Really?
Other podcast websites
Is somebody
I never even heard
our
of.
stuff and just putting it on other things?
I think our RSS feed, which is what sends, when I originally upload these episodes, they go specifically to iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify automatically. Mm-hmm. But apparently our iHeartRadio is maybe affiliated with some of these websites or apps, and so then they get that RSS feed as well.
You're right, AJ.
Shit.
Who in their right mind would steal our content?
Exactly.
Yes,
Yes, truly.
good
Come
point.
on. What do they have to gain? It's more like, what do they have to lose now?
Yeah, so give us the 5 stars on everything.
Gotcha.
Even if they don't offer stars, find a way to give us
Find a
stars.
way to make
Mail
it
them
happen.
some stars.
Right.
Some gold stars.
I think you might be able to rate on Spotify, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's like a thumbs up or thumbs
Yeah.
down.
There you go. Yeah, definitely thumbs up then if you guys would. It helps us out.
It'll help. Yeah, definitely help us
Helps
out.
us out a lot, for sure. Cool.
So Knives Out, how'd you guys like it? Well, non-spoilers first.
Of course.
Of course.
And there's a bit to spoil.
There's quite a bit to spoil. I loved it.
It
I
was
thought
really
it was a little bit slow somewhere in the middle, but overall I thought it was great. The writing was very complicated. Just the way that you have to structure a movie like this. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing that they do it so fluidly. Like, it never... Actually, a little bit in the beginning, it was kind of hard to keep up because they're throwing a lot of character names at you that you're kind of supposed to remember. But the one... Early on, that doesn't really matter.
And some characters are a little throwaway anyway.
Exactly. Some of them are just kind of there just to fill the...
The masturbating
fill in
German
space.
kid?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the alt-right Nazi kid jerking off in the bathroom. Yeah, but overall, like the story was very coherent, very easy to follow, and I do love that. I don't think this is a spoiler. When some people are getting interviewed and you hear them talking about it, but then you actually get to see what actually happened. So what they're saying versus reality is, I think, is pretty neat.
cool.
You typically don't. Movies like this typically don't have that. It's always like you get to see their version, and then later on you have to rehash what actually happened. But all the flashbacks you see are reality, which is I thought
it made the movie for the better. At that
Yes,
point.
absolutely.
And it added cool comedy beats to it as well.
100%.
You get to see like how terrible of liars these people are at times, or how
Terrible.
honest they are also, or
Yeah.
different versions of the same truth, if you will. It was pretty cool. What did you guys think of Daniel Craig in this movie?
That accent.
That
Sounded like he
accent.
was at KFC.
Yeah.
He was definitely the Colonel Detective. I really loved it.
I wonder
was
if
good,
if
yeah.
that was in the script or if he just made a creative choice.
I definitely,
Because it seems very out of place.
I'm sure he workshopped it with Ryan Johnson a lot, who wrote and directed this film. I'm sure they worked it out, but I love just how he was consistent with it from
Very
from beginning to
consistent.
end, to the point of even his singing, I guess, spoilers, was on point.
Oh, I forgot about yeah.
When he's sitting in the car, minding
Yeah.
his own goddamn business.
I do like that
please.
he's kind of flawed. If
Yeah.
like even though he's talked about to be like this really real badass private eye, he's still very he's still got his quirks. He's still very bizarre and kind of just
A little hokey almost, if you
Yeah.
will, if that's the word I'm looking for.
it's pretty fun. He's not just all business about stuff. I thought that was fun.
There was definitely a point in the film where I started wondering, I guess I started questioning his renown. I was like, is this guy as good as he's made out to be?
Right.
I'm not so sure. And then eventually the story develops and you see that, oh, yeah, he's actually pretty good at his job.
He's very good, but just not.
He's a good guesser. I'll put it that way. I mean, he's definitely a good detective, but in the beginning parts of this film, I feel like he guesses very, very well. He has good intuition.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Was he guessing?
Yeah, I think
It seemed like he kind of knew everything
has-
was going to... He was acting dumb is what it felt
it
like.
has more to do with tuition than I think just taking a hard guess on things.
Well, we can get into it in spoilers, but there's one part where he's questioning, and then he's questioning all these other family members, and then he talks with someone else, and then his curiosities get confirmed. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, we
but
can
that's
go
what
into
I
it
mean.
later.
Like those curiosities don't come out of nowhere. There's just like tiny gaps that he sees in their stories that he kind of just
he fills them in very well.
fills them in, and then it turns out he's right. So I wouldn't say they're guesses per se, but he's just filling in the blanks.
Okay.
Like the only way this would make sense is if this were happening, or et cetera, et cetera.
So I'm gonna
You see that
assume it went down
especially-
like this.
You see that especially later on in the movie.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yes. Which that was very fun. Okay, cool. What did you guys feel about the family dynamic in this film?
It was hilarious.
Yeah,
I
they were
loved it.
pretty
The cast
fucking-
is pretty stellar.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They were all
even-
characters.
yeah.
Like,
Very
Character actors, yeah.
actor heavy. Yes, very cool. Jamie Lee Curtis was on point. I almost wish I would have gotten a little bit more of her, but
I know.
then at the same time, I think we got just enough to really like kind of get to know her a little bit more. I like the guy, Don Johnson, that played her husband. He was pretty good in this movie also.
He's in the Watchmen show.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Oh, nice. He plays well.
He plays a very funny character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I-
No, in this movie.
Oh,
not
yeah,
Watchmen,
he's
no.
hilarious in this movie, especially when there's certain assumptions made of him and they come to
Yeah.
fruition. It's really, really good. Any other characters stand out to you guys?
The character of Walter, who's I know the actor's name, but I'm drawing a blank.
Michael Shannon.
There
is
you
it?
go. That's it. Michael Shannon. He was
Zod.
pretty cool. I love. You know what I love especially is I love how in the beginning you get to see all these characters' personalities, but then as the movie develops, you get to see kind
How
of
fucked up
what's
the family
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Yes.
What's maybe under the surface and how what these people are really like when push comes to shove.
When the knives come out.
Yeah, because you develop an opinion on them very early on, and then your opinion of them kind of changes as the movie progresses, which I thought was good, was nice, interesting.
For the characters that matter, your assumption will change. Otherwise, if they're the throwaway characters, the ones that are there just because other family members that they're affiliated with are there, then they don't really get that same love. But they don't need it anyway.
Right.
Again, some characters I was like, again, you referenced the Nazi-esque younger character in the movie, the son of the Walter,
Yes.
played by Michael Shannon character.
Well, the son. Wait,
He had some
Oh, yeah,
comedic
you're right, you're right.
bits to it, but
Yeah.
otherwise not 100% necessary either.
how'd you guys like Chris Evans?
I loved him.
He was great.
He was cool.
He was great. Yeah.
He was hilarious.
It's nice to see him outside of Captain America.
That's what I
Yeah.
was saying. Sin and I were talking after the film, and I was like, man, this kind of makes me miss the fact that he's probably not going to be in a Marvel movie ever again. But at the same time, I bet he had so much fun doing something so different.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because he hasn't made many things outside of the MCU. I mean, he was in
Yeah.
Snowpiercer.
which was great.
Yeah.
Sunshine,
Sunshine as
Sunshine,
well.
didn't that come out like a stupid long time ago?
but it was
Long
before the
time ago.
Marvel
like
movies.
Yeah.
like 12 years
Oh no,
ago,
I'm not saying
probably.
he hasn't been in things, but since the MCU has picked
Oh,
up,
yeah.
he hasn't really been.
Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
He was in another movie. I forget what it was, but he plays like a young dad, and his daughter's like a genius. That was actually a really good movie. I couldn't tell you the title of it, but it's on like Hulu and stuff like that. It's really good. Super good. You'd have to look it up though. Anyway, but no, yeah, it was cool to see him doing something very, very different for himself, and play a very, very different character from the goody two shoes that is Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, still America's ass though in the end, always and will be,
Always.
forever. Got you.
The comedy in this movie lands pretty well also.
I would say I was giggling at points where people weren't. That's how much I was intrigued by this film, especially when Daniel Craig was on screen. Just the way his accent was just so perfect to me. I loved it. I couldn't say all the things that he says now, for spoilers' sake, and also just because I can't remember all the lines, but just the way he would say certain things, I just loved it. I don't know. He was awesome. What about the other detective that he's working with? I thought he was pretty good also.
Oh, yeah.
Much smaller part,
Smaller
but
part,
still
way,
really
yeah.
cool. Mm-hmm. I liked his kind of digging into the scenes were really good. The kind of nonverbal communication that he and Daniel Craig's character had together was kind of fun as well.
Right.
The whole piano key kind of bit, that was kind of fun. Mm-hmm. It was cool.
Good times.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think about the maid, the help? Oh, she wasn't a maid. She was a nurse.
Yeah,
she was
a
a
nurse.
nurse. Yeah, she was cool.
It was clear very early on that she was going to be the focus of everything. Mm-hmm. But I think she was pretty spectacular, honestly.
She is really good.
Like,
yeah.
you really get to see the conflict that she's in. Like, she just performed this role very well. I'm not familiar with her or any of her previous work, but I got to say she definitely knocked it out of the park with this.
She does a very solid job. A much smaller part, but she does a great job in Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
She's really good in that also. I'd very recommend that film. Have you guys seen it?
Nope.
No.
Oh my god, yeah, please.
I've heard it's
Please go
great.
see it. It's really good. I think it's definitely more of a go out to the movies type of movie, but seeing as that's not really a possibility anymore, at least until they randomly decide to put it back in. Yeah, but it's still a really good film though. Slow burn though. I'll put it that way. But anyway, yeah, she's really good in this film too. You feel for her a lot in Blade Runner, and you feel for her a lot in this film also. But Peter, you mentioned earlier the structure of this film I did not see coming. Like once it revealed itself, I was like, oh, whoa, so this is kind of a roundabout way to get to the answer of what's exactly
actually
going
happened.
to, I guess, to solve the mystery. It almost reveals itself super early on, but also does not.
Right.
Yep.
If you dig what I'm saying.
I
I
think
do.
I do.
Okay.
I thought I had it figured out. I gloated how I watched Scooby Doo, and I was wrong.
I know how this goes. I feel you. Well,
I should have followed the Scooby Doo rules because,
I had two. I had two guesses.
well,
They were both one of them was very close, but ultimately I was wrong in both cases.
I was wrong as well. Very much so.
Can we go to spoilers? I want to hear Peter's guesses.
I'm down. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Okay,
Spoilers.
full
Spoilers,
now.
yep.
If you have not seen this film, go watch it and come back to finish this episode.
Yep. Okay, so my first guess was because the old guy was a murder mystery writer. I thought this was all just like a play that he set in motion.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
like
thought he was alive somewhere, just
Yes,
kind of watching
exactly.
everything.
Which would have been fun, but I'm also glad we weren't able to guess that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was worried that was going to be the case the entire time.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And then after they introduced Chris Evans' character, I thought he was in on it.
Right.
So I was sort of right in that regard, but
Yeah.
ultimately I was wrong. The old man was still dead.
Yeah.
And the conclusion is super bittersweet when you realize that he
wasn't
basically
gonna
killed
die.
himself for
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Yeah.
That was really sad. I mean, it was necessary due to the circumstances, but had they known the full story,
Yeah.
it didn't need to happen necessarily. And yeah, once you get to that conclusion,
And I even thought for a moment that it was strange because she even says, like, you'll start to develop, like, the symptoms that she describes building up to it. He didn't seem to have any of them.
right?
So, but she's just in such a panic that she doesn't realize that it's not really happening. And so, the events unfold as they do.
Yeah.
And the other thing I thought was very interesting was just like not even halfway through the movie, like a third through the movie, we see her perspective. We see what actually happens.
Yes.
And then we're just like, well, that's it. We're only like an hour into this movie, and like it's that we know what happens. What's going on for the next 2 hours? But it still plays out very well. It's very it's still very good.
Absolutely. I just, again, I couldn't believe that they just showed that she is the killer in a way.
That's what I mean. It's just like, okay,
from the very beginning.
That's the movie.
But I was glad that there was more to it than that, obviously.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Chris Evans ended up ultimately being the villain, which
he was the person you least expected.
Well,
Scooby-Doo rules?
Yeah.
Almost, but not quite. Yeah. I was just kind of sad that he ended up being the asshole that everyone thought him to be in the end. Like, I was like, oh, here's a redemptive arc. If anything, for me, I thought the author Thrombey, the grandfather, the uncle, whoever he is to everyone in this film, I was thinking he was trying to get them together. I thought he was trying to, like, hook them up in a way, because here's this beautiful young lady that he cares for very much, and here's this grandfather or nephew he was to him. Grandfather?
Yeah.
Grandfather, yes. And, you know, he's a handsome kid. He reminds him a lot of himself. You know, he loves getting into arguments, but also very free-spirited. Maybe these two can get together. And I thought that was a way of him trying to fix them up. And it didn't turn out to be that way at all.
Nope. I did not pick up on that at all.
Oh, okay.
There were no hints towards that for me.
I thought maybe that was going to be the case, but it didn't turn out to be the case.
I did, however, think I didn't trust him at all. Chris Evans' character. I didn't trust him at all because, for one, he showed up way too late in the movie.
His name's fucking Ransom. So if that doesn't say something to you, yeah.
And then also, like, his character shift, like you were mentioning a second ago, just came way too out of left field. And I was like, I didn't buy it at all.
He was a little too nice.
Yeah.
He was
all of a sudden, they talk about him being a selfish prick and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, he's from scene to scene, he was still being a prick at the will reading.
Yeah. Oh,
and then immediately after, he's on her side and he wants to help her out. I was just like, that's a little bit too quick. Something's going up with him.
It's almost poetic that he ended up being a dirtbag just like the rest of the family. Just because it's like, yeah, he's just another Thrombey or Drysdale that
wants the money.
He's no different. Yeah, he just wants the money and he feels super entitled.
Every single one of them wanted the money.
Oh, yeah.
Which kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Early on, you kind of get the impressions like, oh, this person's good, this person's bad. This person has their faults, but ultimately they're good. But at the end of the day, they were all greedy sons of bitches. Right? All they cared about was the fucking money.
Yep. I almost wanted it to be great-grandmother Thrombey. The quiet one the entire time. Right. But I did love how, again, you think that, I mean, even though she may have a layer of senile to her personality, at the same time, she was, like, correct the entire time, the great-grandmother that is.
Oh, she gave out that hint right at the beginning?
Right,
Grandson, is that you?
Yeah. Is that you back again already? Something like that. And it's like, wait, maybe she's just crazy.
I just let that slide. I didn't even think twice about that.
I think that was the point. Yeah. Like, Rian Johnson played that part wonderfully. And then all of a sudden, freaking Daniel Craig. What was his last name? Benoit or something like that?
Blanc.
Blanc,
something
thank
Blanc,
you.
Yeah.
Yes. Benoit Blanc.
That sounds, sure, why not?
Yeah, Mr. Blanc, if you will. I loved him. But anyway, I loved how he kind of pieced that together in the sense that, oh no, after finally she opened up, the great-grandmother opened up to him, then you kind of realize, oh, no, she did once see Ransom, and then he came back again. It was kind of ridiculous.
All the foreshadowing was executed perfectly.
Yes.
The narrative and the way they feed the audience information was done spectacularly. And in such a topsy-turvy movie where so many things are happening from so many different perspectives, in order to piece it all together in a coherent way that an audience can understand is in itself phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Rian Johnson executed it perfectly.
I mean, for anybody that was like, boo Rian Johnson, Last Jedi was too divisive. I mean, if for him to be making his own universe, at least enjoy him for this. Because this is, I mean, if this isn't in his wheelhouse, I don't know what is.
And it's a shame, too, because I don't feel like this movie's getting a lot of play.
It was not the most crowded theater for me, but there was enough people for mine.
The showing that I went to in particular was very crowded.
That's good.
But it wasn't. It doesn't feel like a lot of people are talking about this, which is a damn shame because I feel like they should. It's very.
And other countries got this first, right?
What's that?
I didn't actually.
Other countries got this first.
Oh, wow. No, I did not know.
Yeah, the podcast we listened to, the Weekly Planet.
Oh, that's right.
They reviewed some of it.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Because they got it like a week before we did. I was like, what the fuck? It's America.
What did they think of it? Were they enjoying it as well?
They enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
They didn't spoil anything. They didn't want to because they know their audience is from America. So
absolutely.
It was more like just a review, non-spoilers. review. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, super loved it. I did like Michael Shannon a lot in this movie. I felt bad for him a lot because, like, at the same time, or I guess there's a duality to the character in the sense that, you know, he wants the money in the end, but also he loved what he did for his father. The thing is, he did see his father's books as being something that they shared. And I did like how his father corrects him, like, no, like, son, they're my books.
Yeah.
You know, you run the publishing company. But at the same time, you've been so tied to this and haven't made anything for yourself. Why don't you go and do that? And straight up just kind of fires his son. Like,
Which again kind of goes into...
And I loved it.
Which is good, because he does that with all the characters pretty much.
cuts a lot of ties in a way.
Which
for the
foreshadows at the end when he's
All at
will,
one
it's just
party.
like he cuts everybody off. Like he
Yeah,
was
just
already
at one
planning on
party.
cutting everybody.
Fuck all y'all.
He saw one pure person out of all of them. That was a truly good person that did things for the right reasons.
Right.
You know, and at the end of the day, she still questioned whether or not she should help them, which was
Right.
kind of cool. It kind of speaks to the whole reason as to why.
I fucking loved it. Got a big laugh out of me and the rest of
please.
the audience. The final shot
Oh,
of
yeah.
the movie. When
People
they're all
chuckled.
just looking up at her on the balcony and she lifts up the cup and it says, "My house, my rules."
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking great.
Very poetic.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that a lot. Oh man, the sadness I felt for her when she and Ransom are at that restaurant. They're kind of drinking and chilling, eating, and he tells her or she tells him the entire story of what her version of the truth is. And all of a sudden she gets that call from the granddaughter, or I guess Ransom's cousin, if you will, the college student.
Yeah.
Meg?
I think that was her
The
name.
SJW person, as that one Nazi kid said.
Yes,
The
yes.
liberal snowflake or whatever he called her. Yeah.
Something like that. Good
That's
call.
the
I
only
forgot
real
that.
time you see them interact, which I thought would have been a lot more fun to see, but I guess it would have gotten a bit too political.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have liked to see them go back and forth a bit more.
There was some fun politics. There was a fun politics scene within that movie that I liked a lot.
I love how they kept they kept saying she was something different. They're like, she's from Guatemala, she's from Brazil,
Brazil,
she's from, yeah,
Ecuador, blah blah blah, and she never corrects them once. So you still don't know where she's from, really.
Right.
You still don't know. Sin and I were talking about that after the movie too. We're like, yeah, she even looked it up. They're like, yeah, not once does she correct them, so we never really know her true origin. But she said she picked up on the Spanish she was speaking, and she thinks it was just Mexican Spanish. Who knows?
Yeah.
Either way, where was I going? Oh yes, the heartbreak I felt for Marta's character, or the character of Marta, when that cousin calls her and just saying like, hey, like I really think you should give the money back. And instead of trying to console her, she's just saying like, yeah, I'm just calling you because I feel like the right thing to do is just to give us money. It's just so
and the
fucked
family's
up.
all watching him.
Yeah, I was like,
Right.
it's just, you
I
can't trust any of them.
I saw there was
Yeah.
some, I knew from them immediately there was something up with that.
It was just sad.
Because on her side, it was too quiet. You would have
Yeah.
heard them arguing or some shit in the back, but I'm like, there's something up with this.
Absolutely. And it kind of alludes to that's what the scene is going to be, because long before that, it's that character and her mother kind of saying like, yeah, I can't afford to send you to college anymore. Now that we're cut off, like, you're going to need that money. And it's just kind of sad to see that everyone turns on her immediately.
Yeah, which again harkens back to, even though she was kind of her friend on her side, when push comes to shove, it's like they're willing to fuck anybody else over to get what they want.
Mm-hmm. Which just goes to show that they're just a terrible family.
Yep.
I loved it. I loved it.
And the grandpa knew. He knew they
yeah.
were all terrible people. That's why he cut them all off. He's like, y'all don't deserve any of this shit.
Eat a dick.
It was like, what, $60 million plus shares in other territories and the publishing company on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's just, and a
got
beautiful
all
house.
Everything.
Earth. Nice. What else do you guys want to talk about with this one?
Did you see any of like the promotion for it? I was on YouTube and there was like a random video of with
I did
Martha
see.
Stewart selling knives.
Yes, I have
Oh,
seen
I did
that
not
one.
see this.
It
What?
was
Yeah.
like knives out, brand knives, cling, and yeah. It was
Can
pretty
cut through a
fun.
person. I think she says towards the end of the
And
commercial.
the way it's shot is super funny too, because it shows like blood on the knife, and they don't show any bodies or anything, but she's talking about it as like they're making weird murder noises with the knives and stuff. Like it's
yeah,
pretty
it was
funny.
crazy when I saw that. I was like, "This real?"
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Another part of that movie where I was like, is this real? Is when Chris Evans, the character of Ransom, tackles Marta to the ground with the knife.
I saw that coming.
Oh, did you?
Because
I did not.
It was a prop.
Yeah.
They foreshadow that earlier on too.
Oh, really?
There's a part
Shit.
when Marta is right before he, the whole mix up with the drug thing happens. He says something along the lines of people can't can't tell the difference between a prop knife and a real knife, and he stabs the real knife into the board.
Ooh.
So like immediately when I saw him go for the knife, I'm like, it's gonna be a prop knife.
Oh,
That's
nice.
Such
Okay.
Great
I didn't see that.
fucking
Okay.
storytelling.
I did not
That's
notice.
so good. It's fucking hilarious. I love it.
I did love the way that Daniel Craig, Mr. whatever, Blanc, breaks it all down at the end, too. It was like, oh, shit.
And I love how into
shit,
it he gets.
Oh,
He's just like,
shit.
yes, like because like right when he reads the autopsy report, that's what he's just like.
You're an awful family. She's
Yeah.
a great person.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? Y'all should be ashamed of yourself.
But I do think it was still funny when he tried to stab her, and then he even's like, wait, what?
Or
like,
the lead
shit.
up to that, how they tricked him.
Yeah,
How they said the nurse that he tried to kill was actually alive.
Yeah.
So he admits to it. He's like,
Oh, I
I'll be in jail for
know.
this many months. I'll come out and,
Yeah.
fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually dead.
That was a sad reveal, but also super awesome as well. Just another twist to it all. I loved it. Freaking awesome.
As did I. Great flick.
Yeah, I need to see it again, though. I definitely want to notice some things I didn't catch before, especially with like the prop knife line and all that. Yeah, I really need to see this one again. I think my dad would appreciate it, so I may take him, or maybe my mom for that matter. We'll see. But hell yeah. What would you guys rate this one? Skip it, rent it, buy it?
I would buy it, honestly.
I
I think
think
it's a lot of fun. I could show this to people
I'd rent
down the
it.
line. I'd introduce others to it.
Okay.
Be like, y'all never seen Knives Out? And then
Gotcha. No, yeah, I could see this being a movie that either I occasionally rent here and there throughout the years, just saying like, oh, like you said, Peter, like, oh, hey, yeah, like here's this awesome movie. Wait, you haven't seen it yet?
Time
Check
to
this
watch
out.
it.
Heck
Let's
yeah.
go to Peter's.
We'll stream
He
it.
owns it.
He owns it. There you go. So at the very least, find a friend that owns it and go watch it.
Rent
together.
it, but strongly recommend watch it.
Absolutely, you got
Definitely.
to. Yes, you'd be missing out on a great movie of the for the year, and it's near the end of the year too. I've heard there's some possible Oscar contention for this film. I don't know.
for cinematography, maybe.
Maybe for that. I mean, the storytelling was
I don't know
really
if they give
fun.
Oscars for cinematography, but they should. For
I
this.
don't doubt it. I there's no way they couldn't. But yeah, it was really, really well acted too. I don't know if I see anyone winning Best Actor for this film, but at the end of the day, though, it was really cool. The
Daniel
music
Craig
was really
with
fun.
that accent. Best actor.
Maybe so. He
Better
was
than
super
Joaquin
silly.
Phoenix.
I loved how he didn't
Calling
take
it
himself too
now.
seriously over Joaquin Phoenix.
Baby Yoda's dead in season 1.
Oh,
Calling it all. Calling all the
Dang.
shots.
And we only got a few more weeks, so let's see what happens.
let's see what happens. Gotcha.
I already proved you wrong once last year. Around this time, actually.
Oh yeah.
With the
Yeah, those are
Aquaman
others, yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I
remember.
loved editing that episode. That was really fun. Go back and listen to that one. Was that for our Aquaman Bumblebee episode? Or
It
something
was
like
around
that?
that
We were
time.
talking about what movie was going to make the most. Spider-Man, Aquaman, or Bumblebee.
Yep.
And Peter Swart was going to be Spider-Man, I think.
I still have no memory of this.
And that was last
There's
place, if I'm not
there's a
mistaken.
recording of
I'm
that.
not saying it didn't happen. I just have no memory of this.
I rolled the clip as John requested. I'll put it that way.
I remember.
Okay.
It's
Very good.
hilarious.
Oh my god.
Spider-Man still has time. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong.
Blu-ray
This
sales are a
has,
thing, right? Why not? Well, now it's streaming on Netflix, so who's going to really buy a Blu-ray at that point? But still,
That
it's
should
possible.
count. Netflix subscription should count. I'm just saying.
I still don't know how they really count all of that. It's kind of weird.
Well, they don't reveal their numbers at all.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't say shit.
Fucked up. But whatever. Thanks, Netflix. All
They're
right.
privately owned, right? So they don't have to.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just think it's weird that they don't. I want to know why.
Release your tax returns, Netflix.
Damn. Yeah, you can say
Do
that
it.
about a few people in the world. Shit. So
What are we watching next week?
that was the
So
question.
I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking it's Playing with Fire. John Cena.
oh
Kimmel-
my god.
No, it doesn't look like there's anything good.
That has
Are
been
you
out
sure?
for a
There's-
while now, and I
There's
do
Queen
not
and
want to watch it.
Slim. Jumanji's actually coming out on the 12th. Maybe a good time to watch Star Wars.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shall we then?
Yeah.
Last Jedi?
Last Jedi.
Last shit.
John's finally going to watch it.
Yep. Yep. I'm gonna just read the summary on.
Oh
Wikipedia.
my
no,
God.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it. That's on Netflix. You said, right?
It is on Netflix still.
Okay.
I believe it is, yeah, because it's not on
It's
Disney
not
Plus
on
yet,
Disney Plus,
which
no.
is kind of saddening to me, but at the same time, whatever. It'll get there eventually.
We can watch it. Well, I own Netflix, so
By proxy, I kind of have it too. I'll even keep the subtitles on for you.
you
I won't
better,
turn them off
motherfucker.
anymore. I know, right?
How you watch my Netflix and turn off my subtitles?
Well, the thing is, nowadays, if I ever do it, I try to set an alarm to remind myself
okay,
to
AJ.
turn them back on.
I'll kick your ass out if you do it again. I want you to know that.
Damn. Just a simple button push. I just need to remember to do it.
Nothing good, right, Peter?
Nothing good?
Yeah, there's really nothing
All right,
good.
Last Jedi then.
Last Jedi.
We'll
Well,
be talking
actually,
Last Jedi in anticipation
well,
of Rise of Skywalker.
Nah, Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Cool beans.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Again, if you want to message us, any suggestions, make AJ watch The Mandalorian.
Yep,
force
do
him.
that. Do
You can
all
message
of
us
that.
at stgeekpod@gmail. You can hit us up on Twitter for whatever reason. TikTok.
Instagram.
That's super weird.
Yep.
Why do we have a TikTok?
I just put
AJ?
quick bits on it. That's
Oh,
all.
okay.
It's just good publicity. We have there's a couple hundred people that watch them,
Oh, okay.
so they get views.
Is it just you on repeat?
I know, right? Looping over and over and over. I just
So-
set my phone down.
You're like, damn, our content's dope.
Yvonne suggested
West.
something I kind of like. It would
Oh,
be good for a
please.
quick bit where we.
Go for it.
I don't even know if she's gonna remember it, but instead of going to see cats dressed up as cats, we should do the pod dressed up as cats.
I'm down. Just take pictures, or should we
Actually sit here dressed up as cats?
We got to take pictures in and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, definitely. We'll do like a live recording.
Oh,
and then we
full-on
can do,
recording?
and we can do like a quick bits off of that.
I'm in. I
think that would be nice.
I think we should
Get
also
weird
dress up
with
in
it.
public, though.
I'll do it.
People are going to ask why, and we're like, we have this fun little podcast. Check us
Watch
out.
it.
Yeah.
Here's the card.
When does that movie come out?
I
Is
don't
it
know.
in January?
The 20th. It comes out like this. This month.
That's
Oh,
not the.
right.
That's not the. That's the
Alongside
same
of
week
Rise of
as.
the Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's the
Rise
same
of
week as Star
Skywalker.
Wars.
Well, we should dress up as cats and go watch Star Wars.
Oh my
really
God.
throw people off.
Actually, I'm too down
That's
for
a
that.
genius
That would
idea.
be fucking hilarious.
This isn't cats.
Yeah.
Right?
Shit.
I'm in. Let's do it.
God,
we
I'm
got to
so
start building our costumes now.
I
Then
am
shit.
so fucking down. You guys don't even know.
Let's do it. Welcome to the Cat Cast. We're on. We'll see you then. See you
All
next
right.
week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Check.
Check.
Check your booty.